Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling a topic that you all have been requesting: mental health.
It's a big one.
It is, and it seems like you are really interested in getting a better understanding of this really complex subject, and we've got some fascinating sources to unpack here.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at a report from the World Health Organization, which gives us that global view.
Hmm.
And then we're going to pair that with another source that's focused on raising awareness,
Right.
which is so crucial in tackling the stigma,
Yeah.
so much stigma around mental health.
It's true. It's a great combo, these sources.
Yeah.
They really highlight that we need both the big picture
Yeah.
and the personal perspectives to really get it.
Absolutely. So let's start with the WHO's take on things.
Okay.
They go beyond just simply saying mental health is the absence of mental disorders, right?
Right.
They define it as a state of well-being.
Mhm.
I'm curious, what does that actually mean in practical terms?
Well, you can think of it as being able to handle life's, curveballs, those inevitable stresses that we all face,
For sure.
being able to deal with them, tap into your potential, and contribute to your community
Mm-hmm.
in a way that feels meaningful for you.
So it's not about being happy all the time because, let's be real, that's not realistic for anyone.
Exactly. It's more like having that inner strength, flexibility
Yeah.
to navigate those ups and downs.
Yeah.
And the WHO emphasizes that mental health is experienced so differently by each person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And where you fall on that spectrum can change throughout your life,
Right.
depending on so many different things.
It's not a fixed state. It's dynamic. It fluctuates. You mentioned factors. That leads us to, I think, the question of what actually influences mental health.
Yeah,
It's not just about like individual personality, right? There's these bigger forces at play.
you're absolutely right. The WHO kind of breaks down these influences into 3 levels, right?
Yeah, okay.
So you've got individual factors, of course, your genes, how you cope with stress.
Hmm.
But then there's this whole social layer too, right?
Yeah.
Things like poverty, violence, inequality, these all play a huge role.
Wow. So it's like a ripple effect, right?
Yeah,
Those bigger social issues create conditions
exactly.
that then make it harder for individuals to thrive
Sure.
mentally.
And it goes even wider than that. They talk about structural determinants, which sound really complex.
Yeah.
But they're basically the systems and policies that shape our world.
Oh, okay.
So things like environmental damage, global economic downturns, even the climate crisis, all of these can impact mental health on a massive scale.
That's really eye-opening. So you've got these individual, social, and structural layers all interacting.
Exactly.
It sounds incredibly complex.
It is.
Wow.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Just because someone's exposed to risk factors doesn't mean they'll automatically develop a mental health condition.
Oh, okay.
There are also protective factors that can act as buffers,
Right.
to make people more resilient.
Gotcha. So things like having strong social connections, access to quality education, living in a safe neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
These can all make a real difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on that structural level, having policies that support mental health,
Right.
affordable housing,
Hmm.
access to health care, all of these things can make a huge difference in creating a society that fosters well-being.
This is all pointing to this idea that promoting mental health goes way beyond just treating existing conditions.
Yeah.
It's about creating the conditions for people to thrive in the first place, right?
Exactly. Early intervention and prevention are key.
Mm,
And as we've kind of gone through these layers,
Yeah.
it requires everyone working together.
yeah.
It's not just about healthcare.
Yeah.
It's about education, labor, justice, environment.
Wow.
Every part of society has a role to play.
So what are some specific things that can be done to actually make a difference? Like what works? What are some examples?
So let's take suicide prevention, for instance.
Okay.
One incredibly effective strategy is limiting access to lethal means.
Okay.
So this could be things like stricter gun control, safe storage of medications, even barriers on bridges to prevent jumps.
Wow.
Studies have shown that these measures can significantly reduce suicide rates.
That's a great example of how even seemingly small changes can have a massive impact.
Yeah,
And it really highlights the importance of thinking outside the box when it comes to mental health.
absolutely. Another key area is child and adolescent mental health.
Okay.
We know that early intervention is crucial here. Nurturing care, school-based programs, and even creating supportive online and offline environments.
Yeah.
These can make a world of difference in building resilience and preventing mental health challenges later in life.
It sounds like it's all about setting kids up for success mentally and emotionally.
Precisely. And this extends to the workplace, too. We spend a huge chunk of our lives at work.
Yeah.
So workplace culture can have a significant impact on our mental well-being.
Right. Supportive leadership, reasonable workloads, policies that promote work-life balance. These all contribute to a healthier work environment.
When we think about mental health care and treatment, the WHO really emphasizes the importance of accessible and acceptable community-based care.
Okay.
They're really pushing for a move away from institutionalization.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Is it just about having more mental health facilities available?
It's bigger than that. It's a complete shift in how we think about mental health care.
Okay.
They envision a system where mental health services are integrated into existing systems
Gotcha.
rather than being siloed off.
That's fascinating. So you'd be able to access mental health support in places you already go, like your primary care doctor's office or even schools?
That's the idea. It's about making mental health care as routine and accessible as any other type of health care.
That makes a lot of sense.
This brings us to a really interesting point about the WHO's global perspective. They've got this comprehensive mental health action plan running from 2013 to 2030, which aims to improve mental health worldwide.
It's an ambitious plan.
It is. But unfortunately, their Mental Health Atlas report from 2020 shows that progress towards the plan's targets hasn't been as fast as they hoped.
That's a little disheartening. But they haven't given up, right?
Oh, wow.
What are they doing to get things back on track?
Well, they've doubled down on their efforts
Okay.
in their World Mental Health Report. Transforming Mental Health for All, they lay out some key recommendations
Okay.
to speed up progress. One of the big focuses is on increasing the value and commitment to mental health across the board, from individuals, communities to governments. Everyone needs to be on board.
So it's not just about throwing money at the problem. It's about a fundamental shift in how we view and prioritize mental health.
You got it.
It's about recognizing that mental health is just as important as physical health.
And investing accordingly.
Okay, so we've got this global action plan and these big recommendations for change. But what about the average person? What role can we play in all of this?
That's where our second source comes in. It focuses specifically on mental health awareness.
Okay.
And I think it will give us some really great insights into the power of individual action.
I'm ready to dive into that. But before we do, let's take a quick recap of what we've learned from the WHO. We've seen how they define mental health, those complex factors that influence it, and the importance of this multi-pronged approach to promote well-being and accessible care.
And it's worth emphasizing they see this as a global issue requiring international cooperation and a commitment to human rights.
Right. So let's shift gears now and explore that other side of the coin. Raising awareness. I'm curious to learn more about why this is so important and how we can all contribute to breaking down stigma and creating a more supportive environment for mental health.
You know, it's like shining a light into a dark room.
Yeah.
For far too long, mental health has been shrouded in secrecy and shame.
Right.
And that silence has prevented people from getting the help that they need.
And when you think about it, silence breeds isolation, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It makes people feel like they're the only ones. There's something difficult.
Exactly. But when we start talking openly about these things,
Yeah.
we create a sense of shared experience, a sense of community.
Right.
And it helps people realize, hey, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help.
That's such a powerful point. It's about normalizing the conversation, right?
Yeah.
And treating mental health with the same importance as physical health.
And that normalization is a crucial step in breaking down stigma.
Right.
When we see mental health discussed openly and honestly,
Yeah.
it challenges those negative stereotypes and misconceptions
Right.
that prevent people from seeking help.
I see how raising awareness can also lead to earlier intervention,
Absolutely.
which we know is so important.
It's like any other health condition.
Right.
If you have a persistent cough or unexplained pain, you go to the doctor.
Right.
Early intervention can prevent a minor issue from becoming a major problem.
Yeah.
Same principle applies to mental health.
Makes sense. And I imagine this is especially important when it comes to suicide prevention.
Yet you're spot on. When we increase awareness about mental health, we empower people to recognize the warning signs in themselves and others.
Yeah.
We create a culture where it's okay to reach out for help, and that can be life-saving.
Wow, that really drives home the impact that raising awareness can have.
Yeah.
It's literally about saving lives.
And it's not just about addressing problems. It's also about creating a society that values and promotes well-being for everyone.
Right.
When we prioritize mental health, we create this ripple effect that touches every aspect of our lives.
So it's about fostering a positive, proactive approach to mental well-being rather than just reacting when things go wrong.
Exactly. Now, this source also dives into some of the most common mental health conditions,
Okay.
which can be really helpful in understanding the range of experiences people might have.
Mm-hmm.
For example, anxiety disorders are incredibly common,
Yeah.
affecting millions of people worldwide.
Yeah, I've heard that anxiety is like the body's alarm system going off when there's
Wow.
no real danger present.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It involves that excessive worry, fear, apprehension that can really interfere with daily life.
Yeah.
And then there's depression, which can feel like this heavy blanket
Yeah.
of sadness, hopelessness,
Right.
robbing people of their joy and motivation.
It sounds so debilitating.
There are other conditions like bipolar disorder, which causes extreme shifts in mood, and then schizophrenia,
Right.
which can impact a person's thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors.
And we can't forget about things like eating disorders,
Right.
which are often characterized by a distorted body image and unhealthy eating patterns, and then substance use disorders, which can have a devastating impact on individuals and their families.
Absolutely.
So it's a reminder that mental health challenges can take many forms, and each condition has its own unique set of symptoms and impacts.
And each requires a unique approach to treatment and support.
Yeah.
But regardless of the specific condition, raising awareness
Mm-hmm.
is a crucial first step
Right.
in breaking down stigma and encouraging people to seek help.
So let's get practical. What are some concrete things that we as individuals can do to contribute to raising awareness? Where do we even begin?
It starts with education.
Okay.
Taking the time to learn about mental health conditions, their symptoms, and the various treatment options available. There are so many resources available online and in your community.
I think sometimes people shy away from learning about these things because they're afraid of what they might discover.
Yeah,
But knowledge really is power, isn't it?
it is.
The more we understand, the better equipped we are to support ourselves and others.
Exactly. And once we have that knowledge, we can start challenging those negative stereotypes and misconceptions
Right.
that fuel stigma.
Yeah.
We can speak up when we hear someone making insensitive jokes or dismissing mental health concerns.
It's about having those conversations even when they feel uncomfortable and advocating for a more compassionate and understanding approach to mental health.
And a big part of that is encouraging help-seeking behavior.
Yeah.
We can do this by creating safe spaces for people to share their struggles,
Yeah.
letting them know that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Sometimes just knowing that someone is there to listen without judgment can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And of course, we can't forget about the importance of self-care.
Right.
Taking care of our own mental well-being is not selfish, it's essential.
What are some of your go-to self-care practices? What helps you stay grounded and resilient?
For me, it's a combination of things. Mindfulness practices like meditation or deep breathing help me stay present and manage stress. Exercise is a great mood booster, and spending time in nature always helps me feel more connected and grounded.
Those are great examples. And it's important to remember that self-care looks different for everyone. It's about finding what works for you and making it a priority.
And don't underestimate the power of small gestures of support.
Yeah.
A simple check-in with a friend, a listening ear, a word of encouragement. These can all make a difference.
It's about fostering a sense of community and shared understanding.
And beyond individual actions, we can advocate for systemic change.
Right.
We can support organizations working in the mental health space, contact our elected officials to voice our concerns, or even start conversations in our workplaces and schools
Right.
about the need for better mental health resources.
It's about taking those individual actions and turning them into collective power.
Exactly. By working together, raising our voices, and pushing for change, we can create a world where mental health is prioritized and everyone has access to the support they need.
It's a vision worth fighting for. Now, I want to circle back to the WHO's 3 paths to transformation that we touched on earlier.
Okay.
These seem like a roadmap for creating that world that you're talking about.
They really are. The first path focuses on deepening the value given to mental health by individuals, communities, and governments. It's about recognizing that mental health is not just a personal issue, it's a collective responsibility.
So it's about putting our money where our mouth is and making sure that mental health initiatives are properly funded and supported.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to see a real commitment from all levels of society, not just lip service.
Okay, what's that second path all about?
The second path emphasizes reshaping environments.
Okay.
to be more conducive to mental well-being.
Right.
This goes back to those social and structural determinants we discussed earlier. It's about creating supportive and inclusive environments in every aspect of life,
Right.
from homes and schools to workplaces and communities.
It sounds like it's about building a culture of well-being where mental health is considered in every decision we make.
Exactly. It's about creating a world where people feel safe, supported, and empowered to thrive.
And the third path.
The third path focuses on strengthening mental health care systems.
Okay.
This is about ensuring that everyone has access to affordable, high-quality mental health services when and where they need them.
So it's about building a system that's truly responsive to the diverse needs of individuals.
Precisely. The WHO is calling for a move away from those one-size-fits-all approaches
Yeah.
and a shift toward personalized care.
Right.
That takes into account a person's unique circumstances and preferences.
It's about meeting people where they are and providing that specific support they need to heal and thrive.
Absolutely. And these three paths, deepening value, reshaping environments, and strengthening systems, provide a really powerful framework
Yeah.
for creating a world where mental health is truly valued and supported.
It's a vision that requires a collective effort, but it's one that's within our reach.
Yeah, and it's a vision that's worth striving for.
I couldn't agree more. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on a few key points that the WHO emphasizes in their reports.
Okay.
One of the things that really stood out to me was their focus on human rights in the context of mental health.
That's such an important point. The WHO is adamant that people with mental health conditions have the same rights
Right.
and deserve the same dignity and respect as anyone else.
So what does that look like in practice? How do we ensure that those rights are upheld?
Well, it starts with challenging discrimination and prejudice wherever we see it.
Yeah.
We need to ensure that people with mental health conditions are not excluded from opportunities, whether it's education, employment, or social participation.
It's about creating a truly inclusive society where mental health is not a barrier to living a full and meaningful life.
Exactly. And it also means ensuring that people with mental health conditions have a voice
Yeah.
in the decisions that affect their lives.
Makes sense. Who better to inform the design and delivery of mental health services than those who have direct experience navigating those systems?
Absolutely. The WHO is a strong advocate for empowering people with lived experience
Yeah.
to participate in shaping mental health policies and services.
It's about moving away from those top-down approaches and embracing a more collaborative and participatory model.
And finally, we can't forget about the importance of multi-sectoral collaboration.
Right.
This means breaking down silos and working together across different sectors: healthcare, education, social services, justice, you name it,
Wow.
to address mental health holistically.
It's about recognizing that mental health is not just a health issue, it's a societal issue
You got it.
that requires a coordinated response from everyone.
The WHO is playing a key role in facilitating this type of collaboration on a global scale.
Yeah.
They're bringing together governments, organizations, and individuals to share knowledge, best practices, and resources.
It's inspiring to see them championing such a holistic and inclusive approach. Now, before you move on, I want to highlight something you said earlier about small actions making a big difference. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of the challenge, but it's important to remember that each step we take, no matter how small, contributes to creating a more mentally healthy world.
That's such an important message. And considering how interconnected mental health is with every aspect of our lives, I'd like to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, I'm all ears.
What small step can you take today to contribute to a more mentally healthy environment for yourself or others?
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's one worth pondering. It could be something as simple as checking in on a friend
Yeah.
who might be struggling, or, practicing a little self-care to recharge your batteries, or learning about the mental health resources that are available in your community.
It could even be something like consciously choosing to challenge stigma when you encounter it in your everyday life, or advocating for more supportive mental health policies at your workplace.
Exactly. Every action, no matter how small, it ripples outwards. Contribute to that larger shift in awareness, understanding, and support.
I love that. This has been such an incredible deep dive.
Yeah.
We've explored so much. We talked about how the WHO defines mental health, that complex interplay of factors that influence it, the importance of raising awareness, and the need for accessible, comprehensive care.
We also got into those three paths to transformation
Yeah.
that the WHO's outlined, which really do provide a roadmap
Yeah.
for creating a world that prioritizes mental health and well-being.
And we've seen how individual actions, collective efforts, and these global initiatives all play a crucial role
Yeah.
in driving that positive change.
It's been a truly enriching conversation, and I hope our listeners feel empowered to take action,
Yeah.
no matter how big or small.
If you're feeling inspired to learn more, we really encourage you to explore the sources that we've been discussing today.
Yeah.
The World Health Organization website is just a treasure trove of information on mental health, and there are so many fantastic organizations dedicated to raising awareness and providing support.
Remember, mental health is a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process of learning, self-reflection, growth, and,
Yeah.
it's a journey we're all on together.
That sense of shared humanity is what really strikes me.
Yeah.
We all have mental health, just like we have physical health, and we all deserve that support and understanding.
Beautifully said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into mental health. We hope you found it informative and empowering.
And remember, even small steps can make a big difference. Start today and be the change you wish to see in the world. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.